a young man named Shinogi Inumata expressing his deep dissatisfaction with the world around him. He finds the noisy crowds and the mundane routines of daily life sickening. The ticking of his alarm clock serves as an annoying reminder that he must wake up and rejoin a society he doesn't understand. As he gets out of bed, he feels a sense of dread about having to go through the motions once again. The manga's title, Yaergnacht of the Dark Moon, featuring a beautiful woman with long, dark hair and piercing purple eyes. Back in his room, Shinogi lies on the floor consumed by despair. He casually wishes for death, admitting that while he has no specific tragic reason, he feels that life simply sucks. Shinogi is seen rushing through a train station, clearly late for something important. He makes a desperate dash for a train, but just as the doors are closing, he trips and falls hard onto the platform. He realizes with frustration that he is now definitely going to be late. As he picks himself up, he notices a bizarre and massive monstrous head lying on the tracks below. He reacts not with fear but with tired annoyance, seeing it as just another piece of bad luck in his already frustrating day. Shinogi reminds himself of a crucial rule he lives by, which is to never look these creatures directly in their eyes. He believes he can get by as long as he avoids eye contact, but the monster's eye suddenly opens and it seems to speak to him, saying that he was seen. The creature then lunges towards him with its enormous mouth open, and Shinogi can only grimace in resignation. However, the monster is suddenly sent flying past him and crashes into the distance, causing a commotion among the other commuters. Shinogi is merely annoyed by this further delay, as he only has 7 minutes left to get to a job interview. We learn more about Shinogi's past as he reflects on his situation. He is an 18-year-old high school dropout, though he was once a star basketball player at a top school and the son of the now-deceased heads of the powerful Inumata corporate group. He refers to the strange beings he sees as ghosts because they terrify him. He knows that if you make eye contact with them, they can possess and devour you, completely erasing you from existence. At his job interview, the receptionist asks if he is all right. He thinks about his secret ability, the power to cut and destroy these ghosts with just a touch of his right hand. He doesn't understand how this power works and has found that it has never brought him any good fortune. He has possessed this ability ever since he first started seeing the strange creatures. During the interview itself, he sees another ghost appear behind one of the interviewers. Deciding it's a waste of time, he abruptly gets up and leaves, leaving the confused interviewers behind. Walking away from the failed interview, Shinogi berates himself for his foolish behavior and his suicidal thoughts resurface with intensity. As he walks through the city, he sees a beautiful woman with her boyfriend and feels a pang of envy. He remembers a time when he had everything, talent, money, and status, but none of it brought him any joy. Now, as an unemployed young man, he is stuck with the same feeling of emptiness. His dark thoughts lead him to believe that death is his only remaining option. He then suddenly realizes that it has become night, and as he turns, he sees a mysterious and beautiful woman dressed in black standing in a nearby alley. She has an otherworldly presence, looking so out of place that it seems she doesn't belong in this world at all. When she turns her head, her captivating eyes with strange, spiraling pupils lock with his. Shinogi panics instantly, realizing she is another one of the ghosts, and that he has made the fatal mistake of looking directly into her eyes. He knows that once eye contact is made, these beings will hunt their target relentlessly until they are dead. Deciding that he has no other choice, Shinogi resolves to kill her first before she can kill him. He lunges at her, swiping with his powered right hand, but she gracefully dodges his first and second attacks. He is shocked that she can react so quickly but feels a surge of relief when he believes he has finally landed a fatal blow, thinking he managed to kill her first. Back in the safety of his apartment, Shinogi is still shaken by the encounter. He has never seen a ghost like her before. Exhausted and overwhelmed by the day's events, he decides the best thing to do is to forget everything and go to sleep. He wakes up around midnight feeling hungry and stumbles to his kitchen for a snack, only to find the very same woman he thought he had killed, now wearing an apron and cooking at his stove. He is utterly stunned and confused. In his shock, he realizes she is somehow alive and casually preparing a meal in his shabby apartment. She turns to him calmly and asks if he is awake. Shinogi falls backward in terror, now convinced that this must mean he is dead. The woman finishes cooking and tells him that breakfast is almost ready, referring to him as her soulmate, as she presents him with a large and delicious-looking meal. As they sit down to eat, he hesitantly asks how she could have possibly survived. She explains that she did indeed die after he took her head and her heart, but her body possesses the ability to regenerate and come back to life. Shinogi is outraged by this revelation, shouting that it's completely unfair for her to have such an ability. She calmly tells him not to apologize for killing her and explains that it took her over half a day to regenerate because he had used such a powerful attack. In fact, she says he should be proud of his strength. Shinogi finds himself feeling strangely pleased by her praise, even though he knows she is a monster. He begins to eat the food and is amazed by how delicious it is, wondering why she would cook for him instead of seeking revenge. He then asks her what she meant by calling him her soulmate. She states very directly that because he was the one who killed her, she has decided that he will be her life partner. Shinogi is completely bewildered by this logic and argues that she should be angry with him, not proposing marriage. She clarifies her reasoning, explaining that she became curious about him because he is the only human who has ever managed to kill her. Even beings of her own kind have never accomplished such a feat. She declares that she fell in love with his strength and wants to keep him as her husband. Shinogi is floored, believing she is grossly overestimating him since he sees himself as a weakling. His mind begins to wander, and he can't help but notice how incredibly attractive she is, which leads to him briefly imagining a more intimate relationship with her before he snaps himself out of it, chastising himself for his thoughts. He tries to reason with her, questioning how a weak human like him could ever satisfy a special being like her, and he makes the mistake of comparing her to the other man-eating monsters he has encountered. Her demeanor changes instantly. A terrifying pressure emanates from her, forcing him to his knees as she commands him to kneel. She warns him never to compare her to those cheap tools again. The sheer force of her power kills him repeatedly in a matter of seconds. When he recovers, she tells him that he clearly knows nothing and that she will explain everything. The creatures he calls monsters are, in fact, divine extermination devices created by beings known as the Highlands. She asserts that these devices are far beneath her, and the comparison is an insult. To prove her point, she removes her clothes, revealing that while her body is a perfect replica of a human's, a portion of her torso and leg are still in the process of regenerating, appearing as a dark, incomplete mass. She explains that with this new understanding he must now learn his role as her partner, which is to become the savior of mankind, whom she refers to as God's defective products. She recounts a brief history of the world, explaining that God created humans but then, fearing their potential, created the Highlands to erase them. She reveals that she was once one of these Highlands but is now opposed to them. There are 6 remaining enemy apostles who continue to slaughter humans, and she shows him their images. She proposes that the 2 of them will work together to wipe out these enemies and save the world. Overwhelmed by this massive info dump and proposition, Shinogi slams his fist on the table and tells her to give him a break. At that exact moment, the wall of his apartment is destroyed by a new attacker. She calmly identifies it as a puppet. A giant mechanical creature appears, and she names it Balalaika, a higher-class model of the puppets. Shinogi begs her to defeat it, but she refuses, stating that she needs his answer first. The puppet launches a powerful energy attack as she asks him to choose. Will he fight with her and save the world, or will he surrender? Shinogi yells that he is just an idiot and has no clue what she is talking about. He reflects on his life of talent and hard work, which never brought him any understanding or happiness. He confesses that the only thing he truly understood from her long explanation was how attractive she looked while naked, and he declares that he is not cut out to be a hero. He bows his head in defeat, saying that someone like him should just die and that he is not the strong person she thinks he is. As the puppet's attack is about to crush him, the woman, Yaergnacht, calmly says, "I open the door." A massive leg made of pure energy appears and shatters the attack. She then leans down and kisses Shinogi, telling him to open his eyes and stop letting his own feelings of worthlessness dictate the fate of the world. She declares that from now on, she is his god, and he will obey and love her. She tells him that if he hates the world so much, he should simply turn it upside down. Her words finally break through his despair. With newfound resolve, Shinogi screams that he will fight. Pleased, Yaergnacht reintroduces herself properly as Yaergnacht Finsternis, a powerful sovereign being. She then declares that from this day forward, she is also his wife, and only he will hold the key to her heart. As her final request, she asks him to make a vow never to die and leave her behind. After a brief pause, Shinogi mentions that he is unemployed and asks if that's a problem. She tells him to stop saying stupid things or she'll kill him again. Finally, Shinogi looks at her and swears his vow.